I know you don't want to talk about it, but we finally had a real debate.
Yeah. I mean, the bar was set pretty low.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was way closer to normal than the first one.
It wasn't bad, I don't think.
Well, like I said, with the standards that we have, it wasn't bad. And I think in any normal year or normal election, without the context that we have, it would have still been pretty bad. I mean, there was still a lot of lying and just ridiculousness.
That's not unique in a presidential debate.
Sure. Yeah, there's usually some facts that aren't quite correct or things like that, but it's on a new level, in my opinion.
Well, hey, it is what it is. At least we got that. Shout out to the moderator.
Yeah.
A+.
Which I think he instantly regretted when
Why?
Trump gave her credit, because
Why?
I just think a lot of that's something that I think that side kind of leans on as
I think that was his way of appealing to people that were undecided. Because
he tried to just look like not as much of an asshole.
Right.
He was just trying to come across as nicer.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I think now they don't have that ammunition to say, oh, it was the moderator's fault. It was so biased, because he himself complimented her during the debate.
Welcome to While She's Napping. I am Adam.
And I'm Cindy.
So, hey, we're going to take a little breather today with this week's episode. And even though we did just discuss briefly for the first minute and a half the debate, we are going to hit the pause button on the political commentary that we've been bringing you for the past 3 weeks, I believe. And we're going to talk about Halloween because it's coming up. I think it's an underrated. Is it a holiday?
I think you consider it a holiday.
Or a special event.
It's a holiday. I mean, well, it's not
no
like
one gets
you don't
it
get
off.
it off from work
Yeah.
or anything. Yeah, but I still think it's considered a holiday.
It's kind of like St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
Except there's a religious context.
Right.
To St.
Yeah, there's no
Patrick's Day.
religious context to Halloween.
I don't know.
Well, I
don't
think
like
there's
pagans.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, and there's in Mexican culture there's a spin on Halloween of what we think of in America. But I think American Halloween has zero religious connection.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Shouldn't. But anyways, yeah, sure. Anyways, we're going to talk Halloween today. To me, it's an underrated holiday, I guess we can call it. And I think a breather and a break from the political commentary is needed, because I just keep scrolling through Twitter and through Facebook. It's
dark.
It is not safe waters.
Yeah.
Choppy waters. Which is why I deleted the Facebook app to begin with.
Yeah.
This is before the privacy concerns. This was just sort of my own
mental health.
No, I guess in hindsight it's a mental health thing, but in the moment it was, I'm not doing anything productive.
Mm-hmm.
And I just find that Facebook is a giant thumb exercise app, much like Twitter and Instagram, except Twitter, I think, has its benefits with sports and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Breaking news, you have it right
Yeah.
there. But yeah, anyways, let's stop with the the political commentary. But before we do that, before we take a sharp right-hand turn, last week we had quite a bit of listeners when it came to the political correctness episode.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to everybody that has been listening. If you're listening to this for the first time and you've stumbled upon this from Instagram or Facebook, the apps that I deleted, or Reddit, we welcome you to the show. We hope you enjoy it. We hope you enjoy this discussion about Halloween and what it has meant to us in a sentimental, childlike way, I should say. And I do want to talk about how there's a sharp right turn, speaking of, from childhood to adulthood, as to how you celebrate Halloween. But anyways, we appreciate you coming aboard. We appreciate you listening. If you like what you hear, please subscribe. We are on all your favorite podcatchers. We are on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Castbox, Deezer, all of them. YouTubes, we're on there. Just hit us up, subscribe, leave us 5 stars and a quick review if you are listening to this on Apple Podcasts. So much so that we had one more 5-star review. We appreciate the support. We appreciate the positivity. Keep the train going. we would appreciate it. Moreover, we'd like to thank all the people all over the world that have listened to our show. The United States, Canada, Australia, the United Kingdom, Costa Rica, France, India, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Poland, Russia. Hey, shout out to New Zealand.
Yeah.
Shout out to New Zealand, not just because they listened to the episode, but they pretty much have everything under control.
With COVID?
Not just that. Did you see the episode? The interview, the political interview? There was an extreme right politician that lost. And there was this political commentator that was interviewing him, and she just was not having it. She was just not having his bullshit. And she was saying, like, you were peddling misinformation. And he's like, well, I don't know. Like, the flu is more... Nope.
Shut him right
We're not
down.
doing this.
You
lost. You lost.
Yeah.
And...
that's awesome. I'll have to watch that.
But anyways, thanks for everybody that is listening all over the world. Specifically here in the United States, we'd like to thank those in Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Florida, California, Delaware, New York, New Hampshire, Texas, Illinois, Arizona, North Carolina. I said that weird. North Carolina, Ohio, Virginia, Indiana, Colorado, Maryland, Missouri, Mississippi, Pennsylvania, Utah, and of course, parts unknown, that Midwest. Filling the fuck up. Go vote. Anyways, we're on all the socials too. So if you want to interact with us there, you can. We had a bunch of polls as it pertains to this episode and Halloween. If you missed them, you missed them. But if you want to contact us on the socials, you can.
So we're on Facebook at facebook.com/whileshe'snapping. We're on Instagram at whileshe'snapping and on Twitter at she'snappingpod. Or you can email us at whileshe'snapping@gmail.com.
Hit us up. Talk to us about Halloween, especially those, and this sounds super ignorant of me and maybe even super American of me, but I don't know how else it's celebrated, Halloween, that is, elsewhere. Right. Obviously, probably places like Canada, it's the same. But in Australia, is it the same?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's weird because it's summer there right now for them.
Yeah.
It flips,
you can
right?
still have
or
Halloween
spring.
regardless
No,
of
it should be spring for them, right?
I have no idea.
Yeah, their winter is our summer, and our summer is their winter. It's just complete
opposite.
It flips.
Yeah.
Right? So we haven't hit winter yet, so I'd imagine it's their spring right now because their summer would be in December-ish.
Right.
To me, it'd be weird to not celebrate Halloween without autumn.
Well, that's because we've always known it. But
yeah,
you're such a New Englander right now. Like, there are parts of the United States that don't have fall, that don't have seasons. So, I mean, like in California, they have Halloween and it's 75 degrees and...
But they still put up the autumn decorations.
Do they?
I'm sure they do. We were watching 13 Reasons Why, and that takes place in California.
Right.
And it was during the Christmas season, and they had all the lights out and...
Well, yeah.
But I'm just saying, isn't that weird?
Well, that's why people from those parts of the country, I think when they visit a place like New England or anywhere where there's snow and there's seasons, it's like a big deal to have a white Christmas, to see, have it. Yeah. So, but not everybody experiences that.
Right. But they associate the holiday with the weather. Don't you think people do that with Halloween?
Maybe.
I mean, just think about what you see on
the
movies and whatnot that we'll get to. It's all autumn-ish.
Yep.
Anyways, yeah, let's dive right in. How I want to break this up, I just kind of want to have a commentary back and forth, you and I, about Halloween, what we've done, maybe some fun memories of it, how it sort of shifts from childhood to adulthood, like I said. And then I kind of want to get into the polls that we put up later, and we can bicker about that. But let's start here. Halloween, to me, as I said, was an underrated holiday, so much so that I don't know that I really appreciated it as a child. I don't remember looking forward to it, but once I did it, it was awesome. Like every kid looks forward to Christmas, or I wouldn't even say Thanksgiving. Kids are amped about it. Probably not.
No, I don't think so. I mean, did your family, I know your family really went all out for Christmas and even for Easter.
Yeah. Diet Christmas.
Yeah. Was Halloween the same thing? Like,
no. I mean, we had fun. We went trick-or-treating.
but did you like plan your costumes for
No,
weeks? And
no,
it was just kind of like throw it together and go get candy kind of thing.
Yeah, I do think that, like I said, I never looked forward to it. I'm sure I knew what I was going to be once the date came closer, but I never like was super amped about Halloween. I never thought in maybe September, oh, I got to start thinking about what I want to be. It was usually a last minute thing.
Yeah.
But then when I went out and got candy and stuff, man, that pile just chilled for months.
You made
and
it
months.
last. Yeah.
Yeah, and it would always end with the shittiest candy.
Oh, yeah.
It would always end with the brown Tootsie Rolls. Because no one liked those.
Just the regular Tootsie Rolls? Yeah.
It's brown.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the Tootsie Roll is brown.
Yeah, but...
Is there a different kind?
The brown sorry, Tootsie Roll Pop.
Oh, okay.
No one wants the brown Tootsie Roll Pop. What is that?
Yeah.
That's gross. It's like Tootsie Roll candied flavor, and then you just go to... It's like double Tootsie Roll.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
No, I didn't like those either.
Give me the red
with
the orange.
Yep.
In New England, we say orange.
Yeah.
Everywhere else is orange.
Yep.
Anyways, I always thought that it was fun when I did it as a child, but I never had that huge group of people that I went out with, and our streets were never flooded.
Yeah. So we lived in I lived on like a circular block.
Yeah.
So
sort of like a cul-de-sac. But
kind of, yeah. So it was, but it was a very safe kind of like very distinct area to trick or treat. We didn't have to go very far. So, I mean, I think as I got older, we always pushed to go further, but we never went anywhere we had to drive to. Like we didn't seek out like the good neighborhoods for trick or treating and try to find the houses with like, the king size bars or whatever. Like we just always went around our block. It wasn't a thing. Yeah. For me either.
Unless you went to the rich areas.
Right. Yeah. We never did that.
But
we never drove.
You need permission to get in there.
Right. There's like a secret password.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was like a gated community.
Right. If it was gated. Yeah.
Probably couldn't get in.
Right. I doubt it.
I don't know if that would... I should have tried that.
Yeah. But we had like... I feel like because of the way that my neighborhood was set up, it was pretty much... we actually got people from other neighborhoods because it was like a safe, like easy walk. A nice little circle where the parents, I think they could drive their kids, drop the kids off at the corner, and the kids could go and walk and do the whole loop and then come back to the car. And the parents felt safe with that.
That's so weird to me. It was never like that. That's something that I've noticed passing out candy now. Jumping in cars. Never did that. I left my house. I was on foot until I was done.
You went as far as you could walk and came home.
Never was taken to certain neighborhoods and dropped off and looped around. That's so weird. And when I was a kid, granted, this is early mid-90s, I went far out. And this is in Providence. This is in the downtown area of Providence or near it. Parents didn't give a shit. Go get your candy. So did your
parents trick or treat with you?
When I was younger, maybe until about... Do you remember
what age you were? You went on your
11, 12?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Can't happen today.
Yeah. Well, it depends on where you live. Like I said, I think in the neighborhood I grew up, I think that would happen easily.
I'm saying just go.
Yeah.
I can understand around a neighborhood.
Right,
sure.
Because my parents and everyone who lived there knew exactly what the route was.
Right.
Like we weren't wandering to random streets or random houses of people that they didn't know. It was like everybody knew everybody and everybody knew what kids they were expecting.
Right.
And so it was kind of a nice, and it was, I mean, I kind of like that because our neighbors knew every year to expect us and they would be super excited to see, what we were dressed up as that year and all that. And so it was very like, I mean, I have fond memories of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I as a kid, it was always fun. Now seeing our child do it, or when she did it last year, she was a year and a half. Yeah. It is fun to see the kids do it. And especially in our neighborhood, we didn't know this when we moved in to this neighborhood. It gets packed to the brim. This is probably not going to happen this year.
Right.
And if it does, I'm still not passing out candy. But if I knew that it was an event for this street that we live on, and it's not even necessarily a busy road.
But we're right off a main road.
Right.
That's why we're like the suburb, or well, the whole thing is suburb. We're like the beginning of the setback neighborhood off of the main road.
This is what introduced me to the whole drop your kids off in a car and wait.
Because we get so many people who do that.
So many people.
Yeah. We ran out of candy at what, like 6:30 the first year.
Well, it's weird because
here?
I didn't know.
I was not prepared.
Yeah, I didn't know how, guarded parents are now. You intuitively think, okay, it's not like how we were when we were kids. Like I said, just go walk, go wherever. I probably ventured into North Providence, which, if you're familiar with Rhode Island, it's not that far, but still,
far
I went
enough
into
for
another town,
yeah.
right? But I was thinking, okay, there's no way parents are going to let their kids go out alone, whatever, and more than likely they're going to pull them in early, probably around 7:30 in Rhode Island. That's it. We'll be cut off. Nope. We bought probably the bare minimum amount of candy that you can probably buy when we first moved in here. And we had people knocking on our door until probably 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock nonstop.
Yeah.
And we ran out early.
We ran out
and
really
then
early.
Year 2, we couldn't do it because we were playing rec sports. So we didn't have a Halloween night. We didn't pass out candy.
We didn't?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Year 3.
Oh, I was away.
Okay, then and I had a game.
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
Year 3, I said we need to
make up for this.
Up.
Yeah.
And
we're gonna get
still
toilet
ran
papered.
out of candy. Yeah, we ran out of candy.
Did you ever do anything like that when you were kids?
No,
you were
I
more
never
rebellious than
trashed
I was.
anything.
You never did
No.
anything scandalous on Halloween, even
No,
as a
it's funny.
teenager.
My buddy, as a teenager, I would just get high and walk around, which is weird because when you do that, I didn't even put on a costume. I might have just stayed in my Catholic school uniform and just that's what I am.
Yeah.
And we just smoked weed, and we're not children. Clearly, we're 17, 18 years
just
old,
walking around.
It's trick or treating. What are you going to say to them?
Oh, you were actually trick or treating?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there are some houses that will say, "You're too old, go away."
Okay. I went to a Catholic school, so I had to shave my face.
Oh, so you looked young?
I guess.
That's funny.
It's an awkward situation when you go up to a house as a teenager or late, like 16, 17, and you trick. If I'm the person passing out candy, I'm not going to say, get the fuck out of here.
I know. No, it's happened. I mean, we've had older kids come, especially later in the night, and we're getting low on candy, but I'm like, well, whatever. We're not going to get a lot more of the younger kids. Like, they're done trick-or-treating.
Right.
And on a serious note, I also recognize that there could be, there are kids who have special needs or who are autistic or whatever, and they might be a teenager, but that's a very special experience for them to still trick-or-treat. And I'm not going to discriminate and say you can't have candy. Like, whatever. It's a piece of candy.
Yeah. Yeah, and I still bragged about how much candy I had when I was 17 compared to when I was 12.
Yeah.
Still the best accomplishment. But
did you guys ever do anything like outside of trick-or-treating? Did you do Halloween parties?
No.
Did you do like...
Not until I became an adult.
Okay. Yeah, I remember going to
like bobbing for apples and shit.
Yeah, so like our church, we grew up going to we talked about this on a previous episode. I grew up in an Episcopal church and was really involved even through my teenage years. I was part of the youth group, and I helped put on like a haunted labyrinth at our church every year. When I was a little bit younger, we did the just like basic Halloween party, bobbing for apples, all that kind of stuff. And our local fire station or rec center did stuff like that too. And I remember going to those things when I was younger. So my parents kind of made like a thing of it. Like it was a season, we did whatever events, free things that were available for the community leading up to Halloween itself. So I liked it because I got to make the most of my costume. I got to wear it more than once.
I mean, that makes sense. Yeah. I never did anything like that where there was an event or anything. I'm sure I went to haunted houses and stuff, but not on Halloween.
Right. Yeah, mine I don't think were either. I mean, and we have a lot of cool things in New England, like, and maybe other places, but like the haunted corn mazes. And
Are they still doing that this year?
Some of them are open. Yeah. I think they just have different, I mean, it's outside and it's easy to space apart
Some
the
of them
parties.
are inside though.
Oh, I doubt the inside, like haunted houses, haunted labyrinths. I'm thinking of the haunted corn mazes.
Oh.
There are a few of those around. But yeah, all the like the pumpkin patches and stuff are pretty much open, but they're limited. I feel like they like we went to go apple picking and the
Couldn't go.
orchard was closed, but they had
Yeah.
pumpkins like just kind of set out, but you couldn't actually go in the patch and pick out your own.
Right.
So yeah, I think every place is kind of handling it different this year based on their capacity and how they can control the number of people and how they get spaced out and everything. But anyway, yeah, we have a lot of that kind of cool stuff here. And I did that, but that's more like moving into adulthood, doing the haunted corn maze, haunted labyrinth, stuff like that.
Right.
Like,
So, going from that whole thing I was discussing about how when I was 17, I was still trick-or-treating, and doing illegal drugs at the time. The transition from celebrating Halloween as a child to an adult is, I feel, super extreme, right? There is, much like anything, I feel that when, you're a child and you see people celebrate, say, New Year's Eve, as a child, your parents or the older people are getting fucked up. You know that. There's champagne involved.
Right.
There's people having fun
It's a
and
party.
drinking. It's a party.
yeah.
To a certain extent, maybe Christmas or Christmas Eve
Sure.
or something. But Halloween, that never entered my mind as something that you do as an adult.
Right.
And then when we hit adulthood and we went to these, I don't want to say clubs, but I guess clubs and dressed up and people are getting fucked up everywhere. I'm just like, whoa, this is a serious shift.
Yeah. Well, and it makes me think about the in-between of like when you stop trick-or-treating. I mean, you did until you were like 17, but I think some people...
I should clarify. I probably stopped at 14, and then my high school friends were like, yo, let's get high and trick-or-treat.
Sure, fine. That version of
It wasn't a continuous...
So that was your gap.
Yeah, it wasn't when I was a baby until 17 and then I retired.
Okay, so what did you do from
trick-or-treating.
14 to 17 when you weren't
Probably
trick-or-treating?
nothing.
That's what I mean. I think
Yeah.
it's weird that it's like you get to a point where you're too old to trick-or-treat and that doesn't appeal to you, but you're too young to like go out to house parties or go to bars or anything like that. So like, what do you do on Halloween when you're like 15?
Yeah, it was a gimmick at 17.
Right. But I feel like at that weird
just don't do
in-between
anything.
stage. I know. I can't remember what I did on Halloween. I do remember what I did. My high school boyfriend loved scaring the shit out of people.
Okay.
So I would help my mom pass out candy and he would, and my brother and his brother, they would like make it a thing. We were the house that had like the look-alike, like make them look like a dummy
Yeah.
or a decoration, and then they would pop out at people.
Okay, so
that's
they
what
were
I
the
did through
statues.
high school.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
fun though.
It was fun. Yeah.
That makes sense. But yeah, I feel when you get into college, that's when you realize, oh, Halloween
It's a party.
can be
It's an excuse to party.
and it's all right. At risk of sounding like an asshole, at risk of that, it begs the question, and I don't think this stereotype isn't out there. I think, again, I'm trying to use
I think
my
I know
words.
what you're going to say.
When do girls accept or embrace, I should say, the slutty Halloween costume phase? Like, when does it happen that they're like, you know what? I'm gonna show a little ass tonight. When does that happen?
I mean, this is a much larger conversation if for like
Look,
a serious episode, but I'm saying I feel like that's just kind of like perpetuated by our society.
And hold on,
That's like the
I'm not
expectation.
calling women that dress up sluts. I'm
No,
saying
I know what you
it's
mean.
a term.
Yes, well, and the
slutty
costumes.
Halloween costume.
Right, the costumes that are, right, it's the slutty blank. Like
Yeah,
slutty
the
nurse.
slutty cop,
Slutty
or-
cop.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, but that's what I mean. It's like commercially, that's
It's
what's
like,
promoted
I'm gonna be
for
Batman
women.
with a thong,
Right.
but no cape and no mask.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just assume I'm Batman.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a Batman logo on the front.
Yeah.
To me, that's when I realized, oh, this is adult.
Well, it's sexualized. I mean, that's like a whole, like I said,
Of
that's a whole
course,
other
yeah.
conversation of itself. But in a light sense, yes, I know what you're saying, and I think that probably just happens in college, and I think it's because of what's available commercially. It's kind of the expectation, and it's also, it's when you're at college age. I feel like
Right,
that's just
yeah.
something that kind of happens. It goes along with starting to go out to clubs and stuff. I mean, I feel like it's.
But
kind of
when
the
does
line.
that end? That's when I'm more
I
interested
think that's a
in.
personal decision.
But okay, so right now we know people that don't
and not
have
everybody
kids.
goes through that.
No,
We
no,
should-
I know
yeah.
that. I know.
Not
It's
everybody
not.
does that.
This is not a universal thing,
Right.
but it's not what is he talking about kind
Right.
of thing. If you're in the demographic of our age of, say, like 21 to 40, I'm sure you're familiar with the type of costume we're talking about.
Right.
But speaking of our demographic, so I'm 35. We know people that don't have kids and are still doing the Halloween thing, specifically this year. That whole slutty Halloween costume thing is sort of over. So I feel that's more of a costume contest kind of thing too, to sort of like give yourself an advantage to win because you'll get the cheers and stuff.
Maybe.
From the crowd.
I think it depends. I think those costume contests can vary widely depending on the venue.
Sure.
And the crowd.
But it's never the best constructed costume.
I don't think that's true. I think there are some that really give points for creativity, or just if it's a badass costume that's like really intense or really intricate or really spot on for what it, like true to the original kind of thing.
Sure.
I mean, I've seen some pretty insane costumes win at costume contests.
Speaking of, I feel this is the perfect thing for Comic-Con nerds. That the costume that they make for their respective Comic-Con, I'll just
show
wear
up
this
at a Halloween
again for
contest.
Halloween. Because those are intricate and you can sort of utilize that twice at least.
Yeah.
Or at most, I don't know.
Well, we have, there's one friend in particular who's coming to mind who I know submitted to us some of her favorite costumes that she's done over the years. And she's an incredibly creative person, very artistic, and her costumes are fantastic. Yeah. So usually it's when going out with her and sort of that group where I've done the costume contest thing and seen some pretty badass costumes.
Yeah. The slutty Halloween costume aside, when I was an adult, that I remember this was an event. We would get together and just drink in costumes and stuff. And it was more something that I started to plan. Oh, what are we, you and I?
Right. You start to do family or group or couples costumes. Yeah.
And before, like I said, when I was a child or a teenager, it was just, I'll figure it out. But when I became more of an adult, it was, what are we going to do? For instance, last year with our daughter, I said we should dress up as the characters in Space Jam. I'll be Bugs. You be
I was
Lola. Our child was Tweety.
Yep.
With a Tweety costume underneath. And our moms, my mom was Michael Jordan, and your mom, I think, was Taz.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we just bought
jerseys.
all the Toon Squad jerseys, which were cool.
Your mom, who's like 5 feet tall.
Yeah. She was Michael Jordan.
It was awesome.
But we put our child in a wagon with a Bluetooth speaker, and we just kept continuously playing Space Jam.
And people loved it.
And people knew, but the younger people were like, what the fuck is that?
I know there was at least one group of younger, like teenagers maybe. And they were like, yeah, Space Jam. Like, they were super excited. I was like, wow, they actually
by a family, and the dad was like, yeah, Space Jam. And the kid, what is Space Jam? I don't know what that is.
There was it was mixed.
Yeah. But it was fun. And I think that's when Halloween gets really exciting, is when you get to do it with other people. And I think even though I did trick or treat with my friends when I was young, it was never a collaborative costume.
Right.
We always did our own thing and met up.
Yep.
And I think that's what makes it so now, before we had a child, when we were going to parties and stuff, we were planning what we were going to do in probably August.
Yeah.
What are we going to dress? We need to know.
Right.
Because I always wanted to buy them late summer.
Right.
When they're
I wanted
on
to
sale.
do it myself.
Because if you go in September, it's super expensive.
Right. And limited availability. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I feel like when I was a kid, it was like the costume was one of those plastic masks. Like everybody had the same one.
Yeah.
Like there was the witch one. I know my brother had the Alf one.
Yeah. It was just the front.
Yeah, like the plastic with the elastic that went around the back of your head. And I had a witch's nose, like that stuck on. Yeah. And that was my other backup go-to costume. If I didn't have anything else, I was just my standard witch. And my mom was a witch too, and we just did that, like a matching.
Did you ever have a costume that didn't work out?
Not that I can remember. I remember the classic, like, even as a kid, like being really upset that my mom would make me wear a jacket or a turtleneck or something underneath my costume because, like,
then you don't have a costume.
I know. I would be so mad, and then I would like refuse to wear it, or I would wear it and then take it off once I got out of eyesight of my house, and then I would freeze my ass off the whole time.
Now with climate change,
I know we don't have to worry about that anymore.
We're in a good benefits of climate change, I guess you'd say. I do remember one time that I was probably a week before Halloween. I was thinking to myself, okay, what am I going to do? And at the time, I knew I had a red pair of sweatpants as a kid. I probably was maybe 12 at this time. And I was going to be Shawn Michaels from WWF at the time. And in my head, this all makes sense. I said, okay, I'm just going to get a bunch of sequins, and I'm going to get
sequins?
Sequins.
Sequins.
Is that what they are? Yeah. Sequence or sequence?
Sequins.
With a T?
No T.
Sequins. Okay. Those. The little discs.
Yes, I know what you mean. Very familiar.
Okay.
From 20 years in dance recitals.
So I was going to get a bunch of those and glue gun the hearts, because he was the Heartbreak Kid. Mm-hmm. So he would have hearts on his pants.
This is so cute.
And I was like, okay, so I just glue gun the hearts on the sweatpants, throw some sequins on there, and I'll be good to go. I'll be Shawn Michaels. That's how it works. It makes sense to me. Nope.
So you didn't place the sequins. You just wanted to like glitter. You wanted to like throw them onto the glue and just assume they would all stick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's a hot glue gun. If I just pour it on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
right.
Some will stay.
Okay. How'd that work out?
It didn't stick to the glue didn't stick.
Oh, the glue didn't stick to the fabric.
No.
You need fabric glue.
It came, I was just using a hot glue gun.
Yeah. Yeah, that won't stick to fabric.
I was so disappointed. I said, I don't.
Was that like on Halloween?
Yes.
That morning?
Yes. I thought this would take 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And my friend's waiting for me. Let's go. Okay. So I just put on a bunch of baggy clothes, and I was just a hobo for the evening. I was so disappointed that I couldn't be Shawn Michaels.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, before you said hobo, I thought you were going to say that you were Joey when he dressed up as Chandler wearing all his clothes.
I just put on
that would be
a lot
really
of baggy
good
clothes.
Backup Halloween costume.
But no one would get that now.
In the 90s?
Oh, yeah, in the 90s. But that's...
Our generation would still get that now.
So disappointed. Good Halloween costumes we've done. I know we'll get to it, but one of my favorites on the same line, when I reached adulthood and we were doing shit, I was Stone Cold Steve Austin because I was bald and stuff, and still am. And I would it's the easiest costume if you're bald. You just make a goatee, grab the Austin 316 shirt. Mm-hmm. If you have a belt like I do, even better. Jeans, you're good.
Yep.
You're golden, and you just
carry around a cooler of beer.
Smash beer. Pour it all over yourself and just give random people stunners.
Yeah.
Perfect. It was the best.
That was a while ago. I barely remember that. I don't know what I was that year that you were Steve Austin.
I think it was 2010.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'd have to look back.
Decade
we can talk
ago.
about that in the second half. I looked back through a bunch of our old costumes and posted a few of my favorites.
All right. Well, that being said, let's take a break and we'll get to the polls and we'll talk about costumes and whatnot.
Sure.
Hang tight.
So yeah, we did some polls to get some preferences for some classic Halloween things, and we also did a costume contest. I will say, forewarning, for whatever reason, Facebook would not let me post the polls. So I apologize if you missed our polls. If you follow us on Facebook, they were only in our Instagram stories, with the exception of the costume contest. So pretty much.
Quick question.
Yeah.
On that note,
mm-hmm.
What is the difference between warn and forewarn?
I don't think there is any.
Yeah.
Why
do people say I'm going to forewarn you?
Did I say that?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Why do people say that? I don't know. Totally sidestepped you.
The same reason why people say irregardless.
Yeah, it's not a word.
I think recently it was deemed that it is a word.
Well, I mean, it's a word that exists, but,
but I think it's like official in the dictionary.
it means without regard.
Yeah.
So it means regard. Doesn't make sense.
All right. So do you want to start with the polls and then get into costumes?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So the polls that we did on
The Instagram.
We started with candy.
Yeah.
Basic for Halloween. And I just picked two of what I think are kind of like the go-to favorites. Reese's and Snickers, which were the ones that you'd be most excited to find in your trick-or-treat bag. What did you say?
Reese's.
Yeah.
Easy.
Reese's won by a landslide.
What?
88%.
I never got the Snickers hype.
My dad loves Snickers. He's the only person I know who probably would choose Snickers over Reese's.
But that's not weird to me. I feel that people love Snickers. Love. And there's a deep commitment to Snickers and a deep commitment to Reese's. Not to say there's no cross-pollination. I'm sure there is. But I feel that someone doesn't love both.
I mean, that's true for me. I love Reese's,
yes.
and I'm not really a fan of Snickers.
Yeah.
Like, I'll eat a Snickers, but would never be my choice.
The first things I would eat when I got my trick-or-treat candy, I would just take all the Reese's. I would look for the orange, right?
Yep.
And then it's the little ones, the mini cups.
Yep.
Fine.
Yep.
Same
idea. Yep.
Same shit. And then the Pieces,
Yep.
Reese's Pieces. Fine, whatever. Yeah. Not as good, but it's a good consolation. I avoided Snickers all the time. I never really liked Snickers until I got older.
Mm-hmm.
But
Snickers has does Snickers have nuts in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I think if you're a big peanut butter person, then anything Reese's is an obvious winner.
Yeah, I would eat Butterfingers before Snickers.
Oh, I hate Butterfingers.
Oh, so good.
Nope.
Nice and crunchy.
They stick in your teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I
like
as
Twix.
a kid.
Twix is my favorite.
No, this is why I don't like Twix, okay? Anything that, okay, this is total 90s, right? Anything that you could get packed in your lunch, I shouldn't get with fucking candy.
You got Twix in your lunch?
Yeah, because you know how
man, okay, your mom has to start packing my lunch. I never got Twix in my lunch.
Yeah, they used to, my mom and dad used to give me a sandwich, a juice box, a fruit, and a candy or dessert, and I would just throw away the fruit. I don't want this.
You didn't even.
When are you going to learn?
You probably wouldn't get anything for it if you tried to trade.
No, there was no trading. It was just, I wanted everything except for the fruit. But yeah.
I only got candy in my lunchbox after Halloween.
No, you go to, maybe this is an error on my behalf because I guess now in hindsight, Twix is a candy bar, but you go into the supermarket and the Twix boxes of Twix would be next to the fruit snacks and the Dunkaroos and stuff. Yeah. They sell them in a box. And
Are you sure?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think of Twix or Twizzlers.
Twix, the chocolate candy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah. So we would get that and throw it in. I'm thinking to myself, I had this for lunch.
Yeah, no. That wasn't the case for me. I love Twix.
Okay. We should do different ones. Besides those two candies between you and I.
Yeah.
M&M's, peanut or regular?
It used to be regular, and then I don't even know when it was. Sometime when I was a teenager, I started to love peanut M&Ms.
So good.
Yeah. Now
Same.
It's peanut.
It didn't click until I was an adult.
Yeah, I think
peanut M&Ms were the best.
With M&Ms as a topping for something, like on ice cream, regular M&Ms.
Yeah.
But just to eat out of the bag, peanut.
Yeah. My dad used to love Mounds.
Me too.
Anytime I had Mounds,
Coconut.
just take this.
Or I'd eat
Almond Joys.
Almond Joys.
Yeah.
That I still remember when this is not Halloween related, but growing up, we had a campground we went to often, and every time my brother and I would go up to the store of the campground and get some candy and a snack or whatever, and go play pool or something. And that was my go-to. Almond Joy and a blue raspberry slush puppy.
Ugh.
Great
I don't
combo.
Like blue anything.
With coconut and chocolate.
No,
blue
that's disgusting.
raspberry. Yep. An Almond Joy and a medium blue raspberry slush puppy.
No, slush puppies were the best. Is that a New England thing?
I don't know. I think it's a 90s, early 2000s thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure that is Maybe it is
I
nationwide.
don't know.
I'm not
yeah,
sure.
But either an almond joy or my other go-to was a cowtail.
Ooh, cowtails were good.
Mm-hmm.
Last one. M&M's, any variety,
Okay.
or Skittles. As a kid,
Probably M&M's.
I was seeking the Skittles.
Yeah.
Give me the Skittles.
So my brother and I was always the sweet chocolate person, and he was the sour or like gummy candy. So that worked out well.
Swapped out.
Yeah.
Makes sense. All right,
Yep.
go ahead.
All right. So our next poll is also related to trick-or-treating. What was your container? So I feel like there's two like classic options. You either had that plastic jack-o'-lantern pumpkin, or you had a pillowcase.
Pillowcase.
I had the pumpkin.
I had the pumpkin, but I associate Halloween and going trick-or-treating with a pillowcase.
Well, I think the pillowcase can hold more candy.
I think most kids, even those that voted for a pillowcase, probably have used the plastic pumpkin.
But pillowcase more often?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Plastic
don't remember.
pumpkin never prevails.
I don't know. I mean, so the pumpkin we have now
Yeah.
is for our daughter is mine.
Yeah, but you weren't using that when you were 12. You were probably using a pillowcase.
Maybe I switched at some
That's what
point.
I'm saying.
It didn't hold
it
enough
doesn't
candy.
prevail.
I think maybe that depends then. When you're really little, the plastic pumpkin is more than enough because you're
It's
not
a
going
great
very
startup.
far when you are trick-or-treating. But when you
Right.
get older and you're trying to hit as many houses as possible and max out your candy collection, the pillowcase seems
She
more
had no idea what she
practical.
was doing when she was
no.
trick-or-treating.
Well, but the pumpkin, she couldn't have carried a pillowcase. It would
She
be
just
bigger than
enjoyed
she was.
people putting stuff in the pumpkin. She didn't know
And
you were
telling her how
supposed to
cute
eat
she was.
that. Oh, side note, usually, what we would do is eat that candy. I don't know if you did, but I know that when
I picked out my favorite stuff and kept
so
it.
you picked out your favorite, and what we had left over, we put back in the trick-or-treats for other people, and we still ran out.
Right, because she was so little, we went out super early. We
She
went
was
out at
one.
like 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then we got back in time before like the
The
majority
rush.
of the trick-or-treaters came around. So we just reused. We handed out. I picked out what we wanted, and we handed out the rest of it.
Nice try, those that were trying to poison my daughter. Didn't work.
So yeah, you're right. So 62% said pillowcase. So it wasn't that much of a landslide. but
Pillowcase all
still.
day.
Yeah.
Hey, on that line, were your parents super scared of the poison? I
don't
remember that was a thing.
It was a thing. I remember it being a thing, and I remember always just trying to pay attention to it. I don't remember if my parents went through it first themselves, but I know I made sure that at least the wrappers were closed.
Yeah.
That's all. If it was open,
I remember
threw
it was
away.
always an apple. I'm like, who the fuck wants an apple?
Right.
I didn't want one with my
Right,
lunch.
you're throwing away fruit with your lunch. Definitely getting tossed
And if
from
you
your Halloween
are giving
bag.
apples for Halloween, first of all, you're a fucking psychopath. Second of all, that's a dead giveaway for I'm trying to kill kids here.
I don't think this was ever really a thing. I mean, it was...
It was a thing enough for me to be worried about
Well, and
razor
it's-
blades and apples.
Right. And
How do you
what's
do that?
interesting is that I feel like now a story like that, if it did happen one time, like an isolated incident,
It would blow
blow up on social
I'm
media
sure it-
because of
I'm
social
sure it
media.
does.
But I'm just finding it interesting that happened even in the 90s
Right.
without social media, that it still kind of spread like wildfire, even though I mean, I could be wrong about this. Maybe I don't know enough about what happened, but I still feel like it was a pretty rare thing that Halloween candy would be tainted. Or
I wonder what the thing is now. There's got to be something. I'm sure the poison prevails.
Oh, people were saying that last year that people were going to be giving out edibles, like THC candy.
On purpose?
Yeah. And everyone who uses edibles is like, fuck
I'm
no,
not
that's just
giving this away.
expensive.
Yeah.
I'm not giving that to your kid.
And you can't hide it in like a Reese's packet.
No, it would be like a candy wrapper or a gummy that the kid doesn't realize is...
But they don't come individually
Yes, they
packaged.
do.
No.
There are gummies that are individually packaged edibles.
Then they must do it.
Okay, I don't know. I've seen pictures of it and people are like, watch out for... And who knows? Maybe it's fake shit on social media.
Oh.
But I think at least last year, people were saying that's a thing. Check your kid's candy bag for...
If it is a thing, it was probably by accident.
That's what I'm saying. No one is going to go buy edibles and then hand them out to kids on... Like, what do they even get out of that? Like,
I mean, some people are just psychopaths.
well, I guess, yeah. But
mean,
I don't think that that's a thing either. I don't think that happens.
Yeah, I don't see people that are trying to get high on weed wanting to be psychopaths.
Right.
Yeah, usually they're just... They probably forget.
Yeah, I don't think it was real. Okay,
Anyway,
so
the
our
pillowcase
last...
one. by
Yeah,
the way.
pillowcase
All right.
one. Our last poll was, this is the one that I thought was going to be a landslide, was actually very close, was your favorite. I was going to do general, just favorite Halloween movie, but I felt like I had to narrow it down since we can only have two options to choose from. Yeah. So we did favorite 90s Halloween movie, and it was Hocus Pocus versus The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Which you thought was a Christmas movie at first.
No. I didn't say it was a Christmas movie. I said it...
Watch your tongue. You most certainly did.
I said it can be. I've heard people call it both.
Isn't that a Christmas movie?
I've heard it referred to as both a Halloween movie and a Christmas movie.
Okay. I can see that.
That's all I'm saying.
Sure.
So I thought... Hocus Pocus is by far my favorite Halloween movie.
It's so bad.
Easy.
So
I watched that every year over and over the entire time that it was on up until Halloween. And we always had it on while we were giving out candy when I was older. So I thought that was going to win by a landslide, but it lost. 47% said Hocus Pocus to 53.
It's not good. Is that Bette Midler?
It's great. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why.
And Sarah Jessica Parker.
The foot.
They were very, very young in this movie.
The other one that was the third sister, the larger one. Mm-hmm. Apparently, she lost a shit ton of weight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was in Sister
her name
Act.
Right now. Oh yeah, that's right.
She was the big nun and sister. Yeah, she
that's right.
Lost a lot of weight.
Yeah,
I remember that. So shout out to her. But I never liked Hocus Pocus. I didn't think it was.
I loved it.
That good. I mean, don't get me wrong. I watched it as a child. I know exactly what happens. But
well, you've been watching it now too the last couple of weeks because even our daughter, she's only 2, and I was like, is this okay at this age? I feel like this might be kind of scary. I'm trying to remember the difference.
The cat getting run over.
Yeah, we're gonna fast forward through that part
by a bus,
and she doesn't realize that. Obviously, she's not gonna realize that. Spoiler alert: the cat's not actually. Well, the cat is dead, but its soul is released in the kid that died and whatever.
It's not a real cat. Well, I'm sure they used real cats.
Well, yeah. So I was nervous that it was going to be too scary for her at this age. She was going to wake up with nightmares, but she was mesmerized. And then after we watched it the first time, we only watched like the first 20 minutes, and she goes to me, I don't remember what we were doing, but all of a sudden she goes, I know the eye. I was like, what do you mean? She's like, I know the eye, the book. And she was talking about the spell book from Hocus Pocus, and just how fucking creepy is that? She did it again today after she had a tantrum.
That's not weird.
And she just like calmed down, and the first thing she said to me after she stopped crying and having a fit was, I know the eye.
Maybe it's a threat.
Right?
Maybe she's
gonna curse me.
You watch it, Mom.
She knows all the spells.
I know the book. What's weird in that movie is it's a Disney movie, right? Yeah. And in hindsight, that's weird because I never associated it as a Disney movie.
Yeah.
At the time, because it didn't have all the Disney bells and whistles around it. It was pretty independent of that, which was cool. But the fact that they used the whole premise of it is a virgin lights the candle is very un-Disney to me, especially when the girl he's trying to mack it to finds out he's a virgin.
Yeah. Well, there's the part where the little sister goes,
Max.
Max likes your yabos.
Yeah.
And it's like not awkward at all.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's pretty adult, but I mean, I wouldn't say it's adult.
I let my 2-year-old watch it, and she
doesn't understand. I don't. That terminology was there before. I didn't remember.
Yeah.
Associating that with tits.
Right.
But yeah, I picked Nightmare Before Christmas by default because I never really look. I'll watch Treehouse of Horrors, Simpsons over all of those.
I've never seen that.
They make a new one every year.
I don't think I've seen that.
You had to have seen one. You had to have. It's impossible that you've never seen.
Well, if it was a different one every year, then I might have, and I just don't remember it because, like, I remember Hocus Pocus because I watched it all the time,
it's a thing
over and over again.
In Simpsons legacy.
I never really watched The Simpsons growing up.
Oh my god, so good.
Yeah,
I'd watch Treehouse of Horrors over all of those. Halloween Town was another Disney. I think that was a made-for-TV movie.
I think so. Yep.
I just remember the girl with the witch hat.
Yeah, I would have also put, if we could have had more than 2 options, Casper and Beetlejuice.
is that a Halloween movie?
I
Or is
mean,
it
I don't
just
think it necessarily.
Beetlejuice?
Yeah, I don't think it doesn't necessarily, if I remember correctly, like take place around Halloween, like Hocus Pocus and stuff
Right.
like that. It's about Halloween
Mm.
itself. I think it's just a creepy movie, so it's something that you watch around this time of year.
I'd fuck with Stranger Things, Haunting of Hill House before all that.
Well, now those
Yeah,
are
that's what I'm
new-
saying.
Yeah,
But you consider, and this, I'm probably going to catch a lot of heat for this because they're classics. Never was a real big fan of Michael, Friday the 13th,
Me either.
any of those, the Freddy's. Never was a big fan of those. Never really tickled
well, that's
me.
like a very specific genre. It's like a cult classic kind
Yeah,
of
but
thing.
those-
Like if you like
you
one,
watched
you like
that
them all.
shit on
And
Halloween.
I mean, I never really did.
No?
Not really.
You never watched Halloween on Halloween?
I don't remember. I mean, maybe I did in high school, but
Michael.
like I said, like we were always, now that I remember what I did in high school, I was giving out candy and
Oh.
we were scaring the kids in our neighborhood. Like I don't really remember
That's something we did when we got high
watching the movies.
in high school.
Well, that makes sense.
We were watching Halloween H2O, and
Yeah, I
it was
wasn't
terrible.
I wasn't
It
doing
was
that.
just the worst. Michael in space,
Yeah.
the worst.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk costumes because we've had a bunch of submissions. We also had some through the Instagram as well, but I'll start with the Facebook. Want to get ours out of the way?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, and I think it was 2012. You and I nailed Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
We nailed it.
Well, that was in the height of the popularity of that
Yeah.
show. It was like in the middle of it, of the season, of
Yeah.
the series.
Another
yeah.
perk of being bald.
Yeah.
Just
Your
just needed a
Walter White was
goatee.
spot on.
Oh yeah, and we got the blue candy.
Yep. We got the blue Pop Rocks to make the candy.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
I would just pass them out. I'd say, just a little.
Not
taste.
Pop Rocks. Rock candy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a little taste.
Yep.
And you were Pinkman,
Yep.
just saying, bitch.
I basically just wore your clothes and we painted a beard on me.
Yeah, just
That was
said
it.
bitch,
Yep.
and you wore a beanie.
Yep.
It was good.
Yeah.
We
that
didn't
was
win
fun.
any contests, but
No, but I think we were close.
right.
I think we were runner up or honorable mention.
We were also the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, that was a while ago too.
Myself and my old band.
Yep.
Were the Ninja Turtles, and I was Raphael, the best Ninja Turtle of the four. He's always angry, and apparently so am I. So you were April O'Neil. You had this weird red hair color.
Yeah, instead of buying a
And
wig.
it was blonde still underneath, but
Yeah.
you nailed the costume.
Well, the hair, right. I should have just bought a wig because I tried to dye my hair and my hair was really long at that point and I tried to make it into like a short
Yeah.
bob. So I
Yeah.
like tried to pin my hair up to make it look short and then just dye the top and it looked ridiculous. But the
But-
costume was, I found all the yellow,
Okay, so you didn't dye that yourself.
what? My hair?
No, the
Clothes?
The clothes.
No, I found the yellow jacket
this
and the
is
yellow
cartoon April O'Neil.
yeah.
Like the deep yellow.
Right. No, somehow, I don't know why. So I bought those yellow jeans and I remember I had them in my closet for a while after and I was like, oh, maybe I can make them
Never.
work.
Never again.
I can do something with these.
Never again.
No, they went in the Goodwill bag.
There was that one year you were the Fappening. This was
We should probably
creative.
explain what that was. Does everybody
So
know
the
what that was?
Fappening is this internet sensation back in 2012-ish where every celebrity's sexed photos and videos were leaked. There was a giant iCloud
Mm-hmm.
hack, and celebrities' sex videos or personal nudes that they
yeah.
would send to their significant others or whatnot were taken and just put on the internet. It was a big event on Reddit, and it was called the Fappening.
Mm-hmm.
And fapping is an internet term for jerking off. That's why it was called the Fappening. Instead of the happening, it was the
Right.
Fappening. And you were the Fappening. You just wore a nude colored leotard pretty much.
Yeah.
And just
I made
a
censor
censor
bars.
bar, and it just said the Fappening on
Yep.
your tits.
Well, that was inspired by a roommate of mine in college who, for Halloween one year, she went as naked. Her costume was naked, and she wore just the nude bodysuit and a censor bar.
Yeah.
And so I kind of borrowed that idea, and I was like, oh, but actually, like this whole thing had just happened, so I just wrote the Fappening on one of the
Times New
censor
Roman.
bars.
It was
Yeah.
just very, very
Yeah.
simple.
Yeah.
There was that one year I was Robin and you were Batgirl. That was sort of a throwaway costume
Yeah.
time.
We used that one a few times, I think.
Your brother makes a very good quail man.
Yeah, his costume was great.
And it's very easy
Yeah.
to pull off.
Just need the tighty whities over the khaki shorts.
Yep.
Nailed
So,
it.
Not too bad. And we had a bunch of submissions. So this is from a friend of ours that said, breaking the rules, I have more than one favorite. Favorite to play was last year when I embodied Magatu from Zoolander. Oh, so she was Will Ferrell's character.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like this person was Ben Stiller's character from Zoolander. That was good. Wow, nailed it. I love the goatee. Nailed it. Someone else and their family, their children were the trolls, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Which we haven't really gotten into yet. Our daughter's not really into the trolls yet.
No, not yet.
Well, it's coming, I'm sure.
And their dog was Mr. Dinkles.
Yeah.
Don't know who missed. Is that a trolls character?
Yeah, they're all trolls characters.
Another same thing. They were the Moana characters, and the dog was the chicken.
Yeah, there are two dogs. So they played the two animals from Moana.
Oh, okay.
So it was Pua and Hey Hey. And their one dog that played Hey Hey has like the huge bug eyes. So it was like perfect.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That same person that did the Zoolander, she says, when it comes to group costumes, I have to say my favorite when we were the Muppets. This is great.
I have so much appreciation for this.
This is really, really solid.
Yeah.
This takes effort to do.
The coordination.
Yeah.
And everybody was very committed.
I mean, the Kermit doesn't look like Kermit, but it's a frog, and it's just...
It gets the point across.
Yeah.
And he's in a suit.
Yes. The chef is great.
Yep.
I love Animal. It's just the hat.
Animal hat. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yep.
Perfect. Beaker's good. This whole thing. And who's the doctor?
What do you mean the doctor?
What's the Beaker's friend?
Oh, crap. Bunsen.
Yeah.
Beaker and Bunsen.
Just very easy. Perfect.
They're not doctors. They're scientists.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Same person. Related to the Mandela Effect episode. Our dodgeball team was once the Toon Squad. There you go. From Space Jam. That was the day I discovered it was the Looney Tunes and not Looney Tunes. So TUNES as in music and not cartoons. TOONS.
Right. She probably didn't recognize it until she got they made the shirts.
Yeah.
And were looking at the logo.
So there you go. We were the Toon Squad as well. Another friend, her child, when he was 2, right?
No, 2 years ago.
Oh,
so
2 years ago.
He was probably like 1.
He won the costume contest at the zoo. He was an owl.
Adorable.
Perfect.
I love it. And she said that her husband hand stitched the mask.
Yep.
If you see this picture, it's really, really, really well done.
There you go.
Yes, that was a struggle.
My buddy posted a picture of him and I on Halloween. This was one of those costumes.
Like
we went to
day of.
Canada and we bought matching t-shirts that said fucking A. And Canadians allegedly, they really don't, but say A after everything. Oh, how you going, A? They really don't. But we bought matching t-shirts and matching beanies, and we just threw on a pair of aviators together, and just that's what we were.
Were you each other? Was that
Twins?
the costume? Twins? Canadian twins?
Canadian twins.
Okay.
Just doing stuff.
When you have the same facial hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. We did a pretty good job.
Yep.
You want to talk about the Instagram ones?
Oh, yeah. So we had, hold on, let me go back to it.
Sure.
I was looking at the Facebook ones.
Yeah.
So we have a friend who is a hairdresser, and she's apparently also amazing at makeup. And she sent us some photos of her with some pretty badass skull makeup.
Yes.
So I didn't get a chance yet, but I will share these to our stories.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see these pictures.
With her permission, of course.
Of course, yes. And the other one she sent was her husband dressed as a Tetris piece, which is awesome. It's just like cardboard.
I'm looking at it right now. Yeah.
With like the little cutout for his face.
Yep.
And I'm looking, at first when I saw this picture, I was like trying to figure out what there's 4 people in the picture, including him. So it's him as a Tetris piece and then 3 other people. And I was trying to figure out, like, I thought they were all going to be Tetris pieces and like trying to fit together, but they're like other random costumes.
Jeez.
And I'm trying to figure out what they are. But the Tetris piece is great because you can't even tell it's a person at first look. It just looks like a prop, but he's behind it peeking out through the little hole.
Yeah.
So that's hilarious. I've never seen that before, a Tetris piece. That's a great costume.
Yeah, not bad. And the makeup is great.
Yeah.
For her other costumes. Anyways, that's all we got for submissions.
Yeah, I know. I'm surprised that I don't think she actually submitted it. So I think I probably was thinking about it going through our own memories of our pictures with our friends. There was the year that one of our good friends made a Jack Skellington costume.
Oh, yes.
For her husband, and she was Sally. And it was incredible.
It was perfect.
She made the whole head like paper mache head and tried to think of I don't even remember how he ended up doing it. I think she figured out a way to make like a hole so he could like drink through a straw while we were out, and he was like drinking beer through a really long straw that fit through a hole in the costume. But that was an incredible costume. She did an amazing job on that.
I'm pretty sure she did submit it. She submitted that with the yeah, okay, so we have more submissions. I lied. She submitted that with the Black Swan.
Yes, that's right. Yep.
And your stepmom submitted two pictures. A picture of her daughters.
My stepsisters.
Yes. When they were young. Just I don't even know. But anyways, Snow White and what looks like, what is this, Little Red Riding Hood? Right?
I think so.
Okay.
Kind of a random, from when they were teenagers. But she said she loved it. That was like her favorite. It's so cute.
Anyways, all of these are very good. All of these are very creative.
We also had a kiss.
Yes, my buddy submitted kiss. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I admire the ingenuity. I think that is something to be bragging about when it comes to the people's ability to make costumes and make them work and make them look convincing. I think it's great. Even if you don't, even if you just sort of, say fuck it and just roll with it, whatever. But yeah, another one of my friends, I guess they were Cheech and Chong, which is spot on, pretty good. That's a good costume to be. But yeah, our friend submitted the Black Swan.
That's right. Yeah, that one was awesome. She does them all herself every year. Her costumes are always amazing. Yeah,
perfect. So if you are planning on dressing up this Halloween and you want to submit your costume to us, or if you plan on, if your state allows it, or even if it doesn't, you're sort of breaking the rules and going out, we don't encourage that. But if you are, if you're posting pictures of yourself on whatever social media platform you are, or a group of your friends, and you want to tag us in it so we can see it, that'd be great. We'd love to see it. And
we're not doing much for Halloween this year, so we'll live vicariously through.
We're just watching movies.
Pretty much. I've been on the fence about handing out candy. There are ways to do it safely. Like I might lay out like a table, put out a table or lay out a blanket and space all the candy apart, and then just periodically go out and replenish. So there's no contact, but we'll see.
What's weird is we've never done Christmas lights, but this year we did Halloween lights.
Well, I had a whole plan to do. I would lined the walkway with the lights.
Oh, I get it.
For people to walk up. But obviously you're not doing it from, like, I'm not opening the door to hand people candy. So I actually thought about using our daughter's little, like, she has a play plastic roller coaster.
Yeah. And
I was going to send candy down on the roller coaster. But I'm not sure. I still feel like people will, like, touch it. And then other people are going to touch it. And I have to, like, sanitize it between each person. And, like I don't know. It was a fun idea.
It gets packed.
Yeah. I feel like I'm not going to be able to, like, I was just going to send one piece of candy down at a time per person. But I still feel like it's going to be busy even despite COVID. So we'll see.
We'll see. But if you want to send us pictures of what you're being for this Halloween, we certainly would love to see it. Or if you want to send us older pictures from previous Halloweens, costumes that you're proud of, we would certainly like to see it. So next week, it's the final political discussion, maybe, that we'll be having when it comes to the election. I kind of would like to make that a little freestyle, maybe like an open forum kind of thing. We will have a preview of it upcoming. We will ask for input. But basically, I just want to sort of reflect on the two campaigns, we can talk about what this election means and why I think it's one of the most important elections, at least in my lifetime, and probably our lifetime. Yeah, we can predict who's going to win. Why we think that. I mean, if that doesn't give you a spoiler.
Yeah. And I also would like to give an opportunity to revisit any of the other 3 episodes of the topics that we covered in the other 3 episodes in the series, which was Second Amendment, QAnon, and political correctness.
Correct. Yeah.
So if anybody has feedback on those 3 episodes, you can submit that, and we can revisit those topics next week too.
Yeah, and we just want to hear pretty much from both sides of the aisle. If you want to privately DM us, if that makes you feel better, talk about, you don't have to if you don't want to. I'm sort of hard-pressed to even ask this, but instead of saying who you're voting for, because it's kind of fucked up for me to ask, who are you voting for? Who you support or who you're leaning towards. You can be vague about it if you want, and the reasons why, because I do think sort of having that contrary side and having a sort of thorough explanation as to why is very beneficial to people that might have a differing opinion, and we can certainly include that into the episode if you want it to be included, if we have your permission to do so. But yeah, this will probably close the book on the election talk. Probably not, though, because we're not going to know who's going to win at that point.
We might not.
So we might have a revisitation of the results whenever they come.
Right.
But that being said, we appreciate you hanging on and listening to this Halloween episode. This was a lot of fun. This was definitely an exhale kind of episode for us. We certainly needed it.
I feel like I've been laying it on thick the last few weeks, but I feel like that's just kind of the reality that we live in right now.
We're fun people.
So, yeah, we swear. When the world is not burning around us,
yes,
we can be fun.
If you liked what you've heard, we have encouraged you to subscribe to the show. Again, we're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Castbox, YouTube, wherever you get your podcast fix from, we're there. We encourage you to subscribe. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please give us 5 stars and a quick review. We really appreciate the input. We really appreciate the positivity and the sort of encouragement to pull and push forward with this project. Again, if you don't have Apple Podcasts and you consume your media that doesn't have a rating system, you can certainly leave us 5 stars on Facebook. They do have a review system there. So why don't you go over the socials one more time?
Sure. So that's facebook.com/whileshe'snapping. We're on Twitter @She'sNappingPod, on Instagram @whileshe'snapping. Or you can email us at whileshe'snapping@gmail.com.
Hit us up and send us your Halloween costumes. Send us your political views as uncensored as you want to be. And until next week, have a safe Halloween and check your candies and throw away the apples.
Yep.
See ya.
Bye.